Una caravana masiva de migrantes en tiempos del coronavirus atraviesa Guatemala rumbo a Estados Unidos. Son más de 3,000 hondureños, muchos de ellos familias con niños, que desafían el peligro de la travesía y el riesgo de contagiarse. Ya se reporta al menos un muerto entre ellos.
No, I think masks are okay. You have to understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to, but I wear masks when needed. When needed, I wear masks. Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-Herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH show. Today, we're going to talk about why Trump possibly got COVID and the new migrant caravan that's heading towards the U.S. But first, roll the intro. All right. As a general reminder, you can listen to this show and every other episode we've ever uploaded on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. And then if you don't mind dropping a like, a comment, and making sure that you have ring the notification bell for the subscription. Okay, let's get right in. So Trump contracts COVID, right? Is the first thing we learned today, October 2nd already. Jeez, time flies. So, of course, that is no longer news, and it's crazy to say that. In the span of probably less than, 12 hours at this point that we've learned that Trump got COVID. It's like, okay, move on. Let's go. What is next? Which, of course, then leads me to think, well, let's back up a little bit. Let's think about why this guy probably got COVID. Now, of course, you're going to have people say, well, karma. Possibly. I'm not going to take that away from you, especially those of you that already went to Twitter, and allegedly the tweet that Trump sent out is one with the highest amount of likes in comparison to all these other tweets he's ever done. So, I'm not going to take that away from you guys that are celebrating this. I am personally not. I don't think I've celebrated anybody getting I think I stand with a lot of people that say, hey, wish him a speedy recovery to him and his wife. But it doesn't take away the question, right? It begs the question. So why did he get COVID? For reals? Well, let's look at some facts that we've known so far. Starting with Hope Hicks, one of the, or at least a senior aide to the president and the closest person that we have known so far to have contracted the virus. She got a test on Thursday after feeling ill, and she got results later that she did have, in fact. Now, who knows how long Miss Hicks, I should say, was carrying around the virus. As we have learned at this point, we know that you can be incubating the virus for several days, if not weeks, before you actually show symptoms, right? That's what at least some experts are saying. So is it possible that Hope Hicks had the virus way before this Thursday when they told her that she was positive? Yeah, of course. So who else? Who else has a virus is another question that people are going to be asking. Is it that mean that everybody on Air Force One, because she was traveling with him? Of course, that is possible. What we know, of course, is that she being so close to the president, well, there is a good chance that she was the reason why the president got. Again, all this is speculation, to be fair, because really no one is going to know. And I don't think anybody's going to know for certain until the White House decides to come up with a story to let us know, hey, this is possibly how the president got it. But for now, we can know Hope Hicks is at least a person that has been identified for getting the virus first. Okay, so other highlights that we can talk about as well around this case is Biden. The Biden campaign said that they weren't notified that Trump had contracted the virus. And, if you remember, just a few days ago on Tuesday, Trump and Biden had their first debate. So is it possible that Trump already carried the virus with him? Yes, it is possible, of course. But again, it's something that he didn't know. And when he did find out finally after getting tested today, Friday, this morning, the Biden campaign is saying, hey, no one ever told us. We found out through some third parties. So, that's their way of throwing shade. Now, to Biden's defense, I guess you can say, is, Biden did come out publicly and gave a statement saying, hey, we wish for the Trumps to get better, right? But that is what's happening. Harris, by the way, Biden's running mate, also tested negative for the coronavirus. Now, currently, the First Lady and Trump are quarantined. This happened actually right after Hope Hicks actually tested positive. And so far, they've said a couple things as far as out of the White House. Hey, we're going to continue with the quarantine as we need to, in case of anybody that gets contracted. Trump is only experiencing mild symptoms, and all the agenda that Trump had planned will continue actually virtually. So are we going to end up seeing Trump on a Zoom call? Interesting, huh? Maybe. Who knows? But that is what the White House has released so far, and the Trump campaign. So moving on with the why he contracted possibly. Well, let's also consider the fact that, Trump hadn't contracted that we know of the virus before. And that is because he spent most of his time between the White House, the golf course, and then every other meeting he had, around where, I'm sure there was weeks of preparation for him to get there and very limited contact. He is now back in campaign mode. I think that's something that anybody can agree with. So he is naturally going to be commingling with more people. I guess you can kind of say the preparations are much more limited as well. So it's fair to say that, some stuff is maybe put aside that maybe before they weren't, when he was traveling from place to place, because now he needs to go back into campaign mode. Now he needs to go back to maybe not shaking hands, but being in close proximity. Now, what we know so far is that the virus doesn't travel allegedly, or at least it's safe to be within, or not within, I shouldn't say within, farther than 6 feet, right? Well, I don't think that's happening with hundreds of people that are showing up to his campaign rallies, with people all around when he is on stage doing any kind of public event. I don't know that having so many people in such close proximity, is helping the situation. So is that possibly how he contracted, or Hope Hicks for that matter, contracted the virus? I would say yes. I don't think there's a lot anybody can argue against that, which then begs another question. Does that mean that other people at other events that Trump attended also had the virus or contracted the virus? And, now we have, at least for that community spread. I think, again, that's something that yes is the answer to it. Now, of course, what can we expect now? Well, now let's let the conspiracy theories run wild, right? Let's let them flow. You're going to be hearing everything to everything. And then I mean everything, because I already have received, I don't know how many messages, and actually just checked inbox, my inbox for, hey, have you heard that, in DMs, by the way, for social media, have you heard that actually he already had the virus weeks ago and he purposely tried to spread it? And hey, did you hear that he actually doesn't even have the virus? He just wants to say that he has it so that he can come out strong, looking strong in this. None of this is fact checked, because you can't, because all this is just, all these things are just they're rumors. It's a conspiracy theory, right? Or theories that people are going to, go run wild with them. Why? Base, I would say at his base, because they hate Trump. They don't want to see him win. And this is, to them, is like a golden or silver bullet, you could say, right? Because, hey, if it comes out that he didn't have the virus and, he just panicked the world because, hey, a president or any big major political figure getting the virus, much like when Boris Johnson got it, it makes headlines. Can we say that if he didn't get it, I don't know, we can impeach him for that now? There's, again, all these crazy conspiracy theories. So what I would strongly advise all of you is to be vigilant. Be vigilant about everything that you hear out there, right? Every single post from today until they say that he no longer has it. From, everything from, oh my God, he is gravely ill. He is bedridden and, he is clinging to, or to his life or whatever, right? Just like they did with Boris Johnson. We can expect all of that. No matter what the White House tells you, even if they tell you he only has mild symptoms, somebody is going to come out with something that's much, much worse. So be very vigilant, right? Use that critical thinking I always tell you guys about. And, at this point, what else can we say other than we wish him a speedy recovery? I think we should. Again, I think a lot of people are definitely very happy for some reason that this guy got it. Again, it could be because, hey, well, yeah, JT, because karma. Sure, that is, I think, a valid argument, right? Or at least a valid statement. Because, well, the guy for a long time played down the virus. And now that he has it, it's like, well, there you go. So, yeah, to a certain extent, you can say, that's what happens, dude, for having a big mouth, But I don't think it's something that anybody should celebrate, or wish that he, God forbid the worst happens to him over this virus. Now, we know that the Rona does leave some side effect, right? At least that's what, experts in the field say, that unfortunately it does leave a little bit of the Rona, right? Or him, whatever. I don't know what sex you want to give the damn virus, but I've heard both. It leaves a little bit of itself in the host, right? After you feel that, you got over it. So, at his age, 74 years old, the guy he is obese, I'm not fat shaming anybody here, but the guy's a big guy. And, for that matter, I don't know if he has other health issues, right? So now that he has actually at least, confirmed to have gotten the coronavirus, I personally do wish him a speedy recovery, even if this is karma. And hopefully he'll take it serious, and hopefully he won't downplay it in the future as much. Okay, let's move on to a big headline story that at least I don't feel it has gotten the attention just yet. Well, because there's so much going on, but I believe it will become a big headline story. And that is the new migrant caravan that is headed for the U.S. So let's start with a couple facts, like always. And there are not very many at this point, right? Outside of the traditional that it's, a lot of people fleeing their country. What we have here so far is Telemundo, out of Telemundo, and Univision, they have reported that over 3,000 people have formed a migrant caravan that has taken off from Honduras. Now, like many other caravans, along the way, they'll pick up people from wherever they're traveling from, right? But at least the initial takeoff was from Honduras. Over 34 million jobs have been lost in Latin America due to the pandemic. So a lot of people traveling within the migrant caravan are saying, there's nothing else for us to stay for, right? There's no jobs. Healthcare is the worst. And in fact, before we move further, let's go to a couple of videos. Okay, so as you can see there, the people are fleeing because, again, jobs and the status of their country, and they're looking like the caravans that came before them for greener pastures in the United States. So right now they have broken through Guatemala, and when I say broken through, well, you saw what I meant, right? They have literally broken through barriers or at least human barriers that Guatemala had put in place because they wanted to stop the massive migration. Much like it did, by the way, in Mexico. If you didn't see that, those videos came out, more than a couple actually. I think 2018 when they did it in Mexico, and then finally when they got to the San Isidro port of entry, they also tried to do the same. Of course, in San Isidro, it didn't work out as well. For them, but that's just something that the caravans are known for doing, right? Once they get to a border, is they're going to come through in their minds, no matter what you say, no matter what the country says. The president of Guatemala ordered, and this was an article I found. Let's see if I can translate it real quick. Okay, so they ordered for the immediate detention of the caravan migrants traveling through their country in any other, stops that they come across in Guatemala. So that's That is something I guess the president of Guatemala has already ordered after he found out that they broke through the country border. So, here's some of my final thoughts on this topic. I do feel very passionate about the Migrant Caravan situation. I felt very passionate about it with the first, few that happened a couple years ago. In fact, I shared, I think in a previous video that I was involved in one of them, in the sense that the one that broke out in the San Isidro border, that one Sunday, I believe it was, I was right there. They were, traveling through, and I was crossing, and right as I was crossing, a whole bunch of them started running towards the port of entry. So what can I say here is, and this may be unpopular, I'm not against people trying to find a better life for them, right? Just because you were born, in any country for that matter, it doesn't mean that you should be destined to stay in that country, and for that matter, die in that country. Right now, some people choose to do that because they're very patriotic with their country. Maybe they're too scared to seek, greener pastures elsewhere. They don't want to, they're too lazy, whatever, right? We can go on with hundreds of excuses as to why someone never leaves their place of origin. However, there are many people that choose to look for something better, to look for a better life. And more power to them. I know many people, right? Obviously, people in my own family that have done that. And here's the unpopular point. In case you guys are wondering, like, well, that's pretty good, dude. Why are you saying that's unpopular? Here it is. I'll give it to you. The legal way. Oh, I said it. That's going to set off on people. What do you mean the legal way? The legal way? There is no legal way. The world should be free. There should be no borders. Okay, well, I'm not going to be able to talk to you, right, if that's the kind of mentality you have. There is a legal way. Now, put politics aside and what the U.S. does or doesn't do to help that legal process, whether they delay applications, whether they deny applications, whether we have a president that chooses to, delay by putting either less or more judges, or by having cabinet members that, put in place some pretty harsh laws, like the separation of families. Put all that aside. There is a legal system. And for those people that have utilized that legal system, it's a slap in the face. I understand that some of you guys won't agree. I understand that some of you guys will feel that anybody should be able to travel wherever they want, with or without papers. And again, it is hard to argue with someone, or at least have a debate with someone, when that's the mentality, right? When you don't feel that law and order matters, when you don't feel that there should be someone that desires to go somewhere and that there is a legal way of doing it, right? What else can I say about this? Well, there's particularly something that I found interesting. And then here, I'll put the video here. And that is of this gentleman that decides, and he's not the only one, to flaunt his flag. I say flaunt because, in my opinion, these are individuals that are fleeing a country that they claim to be oppressed in, that they claim to essentially be put to death almost by their own government, right? That the people there are horrible, that they don't have any medical care. And they want, they want to come to America. And they shouldn't say America, they should say the United States, right? Because technically they are in America. That's a whole other topic. But they want to come to the U.S. Fine. Like I just said before, if you're going to do it, and you're going to do it the legal way, by all means. But when someone comes in a caravan, such as this one, claiming oppression, claiming, that they are running for their lives, while at the same time flying their flag because they're so proud of it, is something that I cannot comprehend. In fact, I was having this same conversation with a buddy of mine. He gave me some really good points, right? There's too many to discuss right now. But, in a nutshell, individuals that are very confused, right? That are confusing how patriotic they at least portray to be. Perhaps because maybe it makes them feel safe. Maybe it makes them feel strong. I don't know. But at the same time, whenever there's a camera, they do literally the same thing. Oh, I'm fleeing because I'm oppressed. The government is killing me. People there are horrible. They're killing each other. I need to get my family out of there. But hey, here's my flag I'm so proud of. I'm sorry, it makes no sense to me. If anybody wants to have a constructive, conversation, I welcome you on the show. I welcome you to leave a comment down below and let me know, what is it that I don't understand when someone says that they're fleeing their country. They want to come to another country because they feel safer. They have better opportunities there, but they come very patriotic, showing all their, their flags, and some of them even have tattoos of their flags and, shirts, and they're heroes from their country. But again, they're fleeing. So, I don't really understand. Now, I understand that some of you guys might say, well, yeah, JT, because they're representing, the flag doesn't just represent that era. Because I've heard that argument. They're proud of something that has happened years ago, right? They're proud of the flag in the sense of, the history behind it. But right now, it's just when it's horrible, which I would disagree. I would definitely disagree. I mean, a lot of these countries, or a lot of people that are fleeing from some of these countries, other than maybe 100 years ago, 80 years ago, I don't know, at least not in their lifetime, was it a good country? Many of these countries have had trouble for many, many decades. For many of these people, specifically some of these 17, 18, 19-year-olds that I see, again, flying their flag, but yet, in their teens, your country has been in a rough spot for pretty much your entire life. Now you can say, well, yeah, but it doesn't mean they can be proud of their heritage. I don't think you can have it both ways, right? At least that's just my opinion. Now, when people come here, are they expected to only fly the U.S. flag? Well, listen, I don't think you need to fly the U.S. flag. You're not obligated to flag the U.S. flag. And there are people that have come to this country from other countries, but they're not fleeing. They migrated, yes, because either they got a better job opportunity, they fell in love with someone in this country. There's many other reasons other than fleeing, right? There's many other reasons other than fleeing a country where they feel oppressed. And I've seen them here, and they're still very, very proud of, maybe they came from, I don't know, Italy, or maybe they came from England. Hey, I really didn't flee. My circumstance was different as to why I'm here. But again, I'm going back to the people that are bashing their country on camera, a lot of them, how bad it is. But at the same time, they're very proud of their flag, and they want to come here and impose, a lot of their customs and traditions. And that's what I feel a lot of people, because I'm not the only one, get pretty upset about. I can tell you this, it is true about many people in Mexico, which is where this caravan is heading right for, right? A lot of people in Mexico have uploaded videos over the last 2 years of caravans traveling through and destroying, the path that they're walking, leaving trash behind. If they are donated anything like food or clothes, it's left behind, defecated on. It's really bad. I mean, a lot of people only see the caravans and, in bunches, but they don't really see the after effect of a caravan. Right. And, that's the problem, and if for some reason this video ever makes it out to anybody, and for some reason they understand what I'm saying here in English, which there's no reason I don't think they don't, you need to make sure you come in, the legal way. There is a legal way, and hundreds of people before you have done it. Hundreds, if not, well, actually thousands of people have done it before you. Don't let, the media, the major mainstream media, or those people that are, decide to be openly, deaf about these conversations tell you otherwise. There is a legal way to enter any country. And take it the other way around, going back to thinking about the conversation I had with my buddy, if you had, for some reason, just, play along here, 2,000, 3,000 Americans, right? And I should say U.S. citizens, right? That decided, right, to go into another country, and they're like, yeah, we're fleeing the U.S. because it's horrible there and it's the worst and this and that. And we need help. Trump is killing us, blah, 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 whatever, right? Imagine that for a second. They would enter that country flying the U.S. flag. What do you think many people would say? See, that's a thing that a lot of individuals don't stop and think about, because they find it offensive, because they find it that if I say that, someone might cancel me, they're going to hate me. They're too afraid to say things like that. But that is the truth about these unfortunately, about these migrant caravans. Notice I'm not telling you that these individuals are evil people. I'm not with the whole Trump stuff. right? Of saying like, oh, these are bad. All these individuals are murderers. They're rapists. No, I don't believe that at all. I truly believe that there's probably many, many good, genuine people that are probably very smart and can do great things and know things that probably individuals here in the U.S. don't know how to do. Again, and should definitely have an opportunity to be here in this country. That's not my argument here, right? My argument is not that at all. So I hope you guys can separate, when I say that individuals coming to the United States or wanting to have entry into the United States, do it the legal way. As long as it can take. There are some people that right now can probably tell you, hey, I've been waiting for, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years to hear back a response. And then they have individuals that are in these caravans and then simply make it through. Everybody forget about that, what do they call her? The Lady Frijoles that, jump basically the whole line, gets admitted into the U.S., because after what she said in Mexico, she claimed that people wanted to harm her and her life was in danger and her daughters. Then she jumps the line, jumping again of all those people that are already waiting for years. And what does she do? She comes to the U.S. because it didn't cost her anything in the sense of time, other than, okay, you can say, well, she walked. Okay. But she jumps the line, gets to come in, and then commits crimes in the U.S. Now, if her situation was maybe different, if she maybe knew what it was to have to wait in line and wait for years, not a couple weeks, not a couple months, and then do it the right way, instead of just, hey, pick her up in a vehicle, bring her over, and then, give her right over to her relatives, that is easy. You cannot tell me that wasn't easy for her. Easy comes, easy goes. Because from what I know, after the crime she committed, they kick her ass out. But there is a lesson to learn there, right? So anyways, that is it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave a like, comment down below, and then ring that notification bell as well if it's not too much to ask. Until next time, see ya.